Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Late Winner Show. Sorry, I was about to say Football Pundits podcast. But the Late Winner Show, I think we've welcome to another episode of that. We're going to cover the right backs in the best series this week. So I think we've already covered the goalkeepers, left backs, center backs. So do not forget, go back and check out those videos as well. I think there was a really, really good discussion in our last video about the center back. I'm not going to reveal who we decided again as the best, but go ahead and go back and watch it. Um, so I think we shortlisted about 5 people from our right backs as well. We came up with the list of Trent Alexander-Arnold, Cancelo, Hakimi, Carvajal, and Walker. I think we unanimously decided Carvajal and Walker as the number 4 and number 5s based on their recent performances for their own team. But now we come here and discuss about the other 3 remaining, who is the best of the best. So, Rohil, you want to get us started with that?
Me. It's a it's a difficult pick for me in this one. I mean, I although I mean you keep Hakimi is one of the best right now when you look at his stats and also but I mean there's no doubt I think in any of our minds that obviously that Alexander Arnold will be touted as the number one for all of us. We do not have any doubts on that, but
Hmm.
I think Hakimi is getting there. He had a phenomenal season with Inter this year, and that's actually one of the reasons where uh, everybody and every pundit was questioning Real Madrid's decision for letting him go. So I think and I think right now where he was sold for I think 40 million, I think
Yeah.
seems like a bargain to me where for getting a player like Hakimi for by Conte, and obviously Conte is brilliant with his transfer targets usually. So
Yeah.
looking at right backs, obviously it goes to the similar way where I look for the left back as well. So I think I look at the progressive passes and the pass completion rates which you look at players. So like speaking about Hakimi specifically, you see like in the last season itself, he had 83% pass completion rate, and when you look at his progressive passes per match, they were at around 4.6 to 4.7. So I mean that itself shows you like the amount of times he's been able to find those key players getting those key runs into the in the match itself, and obviously those passes and everything have paid dividends for Inter throughout the season, and they had a pretty comfortable run in Syria. So so I think I think Hakimi I would say is number two for me. I mean I know for you guys you'll probably be seeing maybe Cancelo is number two, but I think where the amount of right backs and the players which City has, we see a lot of rotation going on, so you don't see them playing on a week in week out basis. I mean I think Cancelo was still the more consistent performer compared to Kyle Walker. Obviously, that's why we're not having Kyle Walker in the discussions for the top three. But yeah, I think in just even though it's only been one season where he's been phenomenal for Hakimi, I think it's still not too early to say that he is in the top two for me. Yeah, not just the top three. I think I would say Hakimi is the second best right now, and definitely gunning for the top spot against Trent in the next couple of years. I think we'll have a very interesting discussion going forward with that. Yes.
Yeah, and I think you covered like all those facts that I was also thinking about Hakimi. And I personally also I completely agree that for me also Hakimi is the second best right back. And I think one more factor that I believe that was pretty advantageous for was the role that he was playing. He was not playing that traditional right back role, rather than he was playing a more wing back role, which actually Conte likes to play with Inter, and he had a different kind of role when he was playing for Dortmund in the 2 years, in these 2 loan years, and I think that also improved Hakimi as an attacking right back. I mean, he scored like 6 goals and 5 assists for Antonio Conte's side this season. And I think and also like all those stats that you said, the pass completion rate of 83%, I think that all those stats, I think collide together to make him like probably one of the most uh, like dangerous attacking right backs rather than a traditional defending right back. I think he's more well versed in attacking, and I think because he plays that wing back role, he opens up his creative attributes as well. And a lot of right backs we see like Alexander Arnold also. I think he's more attacking right back. And I think in the modern football today, I think that traditional defensive right back has uh, like diluted towards the attacking prowess of the players. And I think looking back at those particular stats, I think Hakimi is pretty clear for me to be on the second position. And I think Arnold edges over Hakimi because of the accomplishments he has, of course. And I would have loved to see him in Euro to see how he does in the international stage as well. But you cannot say anything because he got injured and all. But yeah, I think for me, Hakimi stays in the second, and uh, Trent Alexander stays at the first position.
Yeah, same as the case for me. First would be Arnold, second would be Hakimi. Just to add a little bit of facts to what Hakimi has achieved in past couple of seasons with Dortmund and with Inter also. In past 2 seasons, he has been involved in 29 goals. Yeah, for Inter and for Dortmund, based on goals and assists. That is there. And plus, if you see. The most important factor to his game is definitely, without a say, is raw speed. And the other thing that separates him from Arnold, just on one factor, is that he can play as a left fullback also. So I vividly remember this game against Atletico in the Champions League in 2018. Dortmund won 4-0 that game, and he was playing as a left fullback, and he had 3 assists in that game. So he basically can switch positions, which I don't think Arnold is capable of doing. And I don't think he's ever played a left back in Liverpool, as far as I remember. So that is one of the dynamic attributes that Hakimi possesses in comparison to Arnold.
Yeah.
But yeah, Arnold still. And one more thing, like England, for England, I know there is a lot of competition talking about the international level. But Arnold still stands a chance to prove his abilities if he gets a chance to play for England. But Morocco, I don't think as a team, just as for Davis we talked about, just for Canada over there and for Morocco over here, Hakimi would not be able to do so much to bring Morocco onto the like the giants of the Europe or the giants of the world. Nothing would happen in that case because the team has the influence. So I don't think that much would happen on the international stage. But yeah, that remains to be seen. Talking about Arnold, especially there is this 2019-2020 season that we should definitely talk about for Arnold. You won't believe this, but he had a staggering tally of like 308 crosses, which was 64 more than Kevin De Bruyne and was highest in the league. So you can just imagine how many balls he's putting up in the boxes, or how many crosses he's actually giving to the players ahead of him, or just across the field, if we talk about. And this ability of him, the ability that Arnold possesses to actually shift the play from one side of the field to the other end, in just with his ability of passing the ball from like to Mohamed Salah or Sadio Mane in the front, and converting the game of defense into attack in a blink of an eye is definitely applaudable. One more thing is like where most of the players, like if we talk about Kyle Walker, or if we talk about Van Bissaka also, these in the English Premier League, they have the ability of passing the ball to the goalkeepers more than like taking the ball forward. Like they or passing to the defenders also. But Trent Alexander-Arnold has the ability of taking the ball forward with his immense pace that he has got. No doubt, Hakimi also has that, but yeah, that is definitely an added factor to Alexander's game. Plus, if we talk about the 2019-2020 season, he had the second number highest of assists also.
13.
Yeah, so that is not normal for a defender, be it a right back, left back, or whatever. So that is definitely one thing that separates him from, and that too in the English Premier League.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
we know that is difficult, and plus having the quality players that EPL has and having the second highest number of assists is very worthwhile, I think, and he has been very instrumental for Liverpool in that sense. No doubt, Hakimi is very young and he's still learning. Alexander-Arnold is also. So let's see how this battle of two most talked about defenders pan out in next coming years. But for me, I think Alexander-Arnold remains the first one. First
I
pickup.
mean,
So I'm so sorry, but I'm starting to believe, right, that Trent is probably unanimous in terms of top spot.
Yeah.
But I'm not able to agree with you guys between Hakimi and sorry, I lost you guys for a bit, so I don't really remember what Rohil said on that. But I don't really get your point on Hakimi being ahead of Cancelo, just because of the fact that Hakimi is still very young and he's not like really, he's proven himself. I'm not going to say that he's not proven himself, but he's still very young to say that, you know, he has accomplished a lot and, you know, proven that he's a world class, not world, like the best right back, right? If you see, like, he's good going forward, but his defensive technique is, you know, very average. It's not like he's a world class defender.
So I think,
Right.
Rishabh, I think since you missed that part, I think what Rohil mentioned was, and what I also agree with is, based on the number of rotations that the Man City team does, he does not get to play in a fixed position. He was not always playing as a right back. He also had that ability of playing as a left back, or sometimes he was playing in the mid
Midfield.
also,
Yeah.
midfield also. So technically you don't get to see the qualities of being a defender in that case. Plus, he was not playing all the games as per my knowledge for Man City. Hakimi, on the other hand, has been playing. Like, I think he has played every single game for Inter Milan in the past season, and for Dortmund also in the previous
Like,
two seasons.
He
Plus,
played
plus
42 games. He played 42 games in the last season itself.
yeah, so you can just think about that. And plus, we're not talking about, we know about Kyle Walker already. You have mentioned about him, but if one thing that remains to talk about Carvajal is he has been affected by injuries a lot. And if you can see who is playing as the right back in Real Madrid is Lucas Vazquez. He has been playing at the right back, so right wing back, I would say. So he also gets out of the picture very easily. Based on the five that we see on the screen at this point, I think Arnold and Hakimi would be the first and second for me also. So,
But I think that's where, so I agree where you're saying that, you know, he doesn't, I mean, I would not agree on that point that, you know, Cancelo has not played that much football, but I think he has a lot more experience in terms of that position, in terms of, if we're comparing it to Hakimi, right? Like, if we see like what Pep plays, like, I'm not talking about Man City, like, I'm talking about, like, so listen to me in terms of like how Cancelo, you're talking about, like, he plays in the midfield, but Cancelo is starts as a right back, but then he slowly drifts into the midfield. It's not like he is starting the position in the midfield, right? So basically what Pep's system is that he will play a fullback on the other side. So basically the fullback on the other side will usually, like, you know, tuck in with the center backs, which basically gives Pep's that wide 3-man defense, right? So which basically allows Cancelo to drift into the midfield. So you're saying that he plays into the midfield, but he's actually starting as a right back. But the fluidity or the system that Pep plays allows him to be a right back, left back, midfield, and an attacker. So that's like more versatile in you're getting.
That is versatile, but if we talk about the capabilities of just being as a defender and acting as a defender, in that case, if we just talk about that seems to get lost, right? If he play in the midfield, he cannot play as being a defender. He cannot play with defensive mindset in that case if he's a midfielder. I know that is a good thing that he's playing as a midfielder. That adds versatile. That proves that he's versatile. That is good, but again, just if we talk about the defending part in that sense, he's not getting to show a lot from that front. I'm talking about.
So exactly. So what I want to know from you guys is when we talk about right backs, are you only looking from the perspective of pace, the attacking prowess, or also defensively that they need to be present?
Defensive also, because in all of the videos, everybody of us has specifically mentioned like how many tackles any player is doing, how many backtracking runs are they doing. So we have talked about that and this would be no different also.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So then in that case, sorry to cut you, but in that case, then Hakimi, I feel from my perspective, was only offering things in the attacking side, but not really defensive.
I think his backtracking capability is also very good.
He's very average and defensively. What I see is very average. From what I've seen, is not like a superb. Like I would not put him in the top 2 currently.
Okay,
that's my perspective. Yeah.
But yeah, I think the majority begs to differ.
I mean, that's fine. Like if anybody has like I was just pointing out, I really don't feel like. And also obviously like you mentioned about like the country part, right? Like we're judging it from the club and country perspective.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've not seen Morocco's games any I think at any time, and I don't really know even if they are in contention to qualify for the World Cup. I have no idea about that. So it's in that perspective you see like England's obviously going to qualify, Portugal's obviously going to qualify. So in that perspective, obviously like he shifts down the barrel, right? And again, the thing is that he's always had these loan spells, so he's always had the urgency to prove that he's the best right back or he is the one of the best right backs. But now maybe he's signed by PSG as a transfer, like he's their player now, like it's not a loan spell. We'll probably see more, but I'm not going to talk about ahead like, oh, what if now he does that. But from what we've seen in the past, from what I've seen in the past, defensively he's not that good. I would always take Cancelo ahead of Hakimi, from my perspective.
Yeah, when you mention the defensive part of Cancelo and compared it to Hakimi, that is something that I also agree with slightly, because I think it also comes down to the kind of roles that they are playing, right? When you said that Hakimi plays as a wing back, right? He starts in the midfield. Yeah. And Cancelo, he starts with his traditional right back position. And I think that is where I think I agree with you that if we talk about, because it is a bit unfair to Cancelo if we put him on the third position because the other 2 players are more attack minded. And in the end, I mean, an attacking fullback, it comes on the on people's mind, in people's head. When you see a game, you see like a right back on that attacking field, you start thinking that even if he's playing in the right back position, he's right there in the attack, because that is more flashy, an attacking fullback or an attacking wing back who is scoring and assisting goals. But then Cancelo, what Guardiola did was, in that particular Guardiola system, Cancelo was pretty fundamental because he was complementing Mahrez and Bernardo Silva a lot more than Hakimi or Trent Alexander does to Mohamed. That is Mohamed Salah's individual quality that brings him ahead over as a winger. But compared to the kind of contributions that Cancelo does to the defense side, is actually a bit more than because a stat that what happened was when Cancelo played, I think overall in entirety of his Premier League season, I think City just conceded only 13 goals when Cancelo was playing, and when Kyle Walker was playing, City conceded 3-4 goals ahead of Cancelo. So yeah, even if you put that stat in perspective, I would say that if you're talking about a right back, which is a defensive position traditionally, not an attacking position. So I would say, yeah, Cancelo is something. Cancelo has an edge over Hakimi in that perspective.
Okay, there you have it then. So
Thankfully that is for the number 2. We have the number 1 with us. That is Alexander Arnold. So
Yeah, that is Alexander.
I think
at least
that
we have
is
the best
definitely
defenders with us.
And
that is
also,
what-
again, like even in the previous videos, also the second and third are not that far ahead. Like they're not far from
Yeah.
each other. I mean,
from each other.
just a little bit of stats and a little bit of roles that they play, the kind of team that they play in. Also, the international stage comes into factor. But individually, I think they're not that polar apart from
Yeah.
each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Trent has definitely also. I mean, I would say that he's slipped down the barrel a little bit. So maybe Cancelo or Hakimi has closed down the
Yeah.
the gap because of the underwhelming season that Trent had. But obviously, like I really don't see him being. I really don't see him having that kind of a season anymore. Like I think, like as Liverpool's players come back, I think he will transform himself back into the best. So yeah. So I think so there's I think that's it from our side. I think Arnold was number 1. Cancelo, I think it took a little bit of a debate, but we were able to agree that Cancelo was number 2 and then Hakimi is number 3. But let's see, again, what happens next year when we do this series again. Maybe things definitely change. We might have another right back emerge. You never know. So thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much for joining again.
Yes, James.
Okay. I will probably edit that out. Thank you so much for joining again. It was wonderful talking to you about the best right backs. But we'll now shift our focus to the defensive midfielders. So do like, share, and subscribe for more awesome content like this, and make sure that you are following us on Instagram and Twitter as well for any latest updates or any news that's going to happen. So thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much.